sake of, actually not for the audience, but I think actually for our folks who are overseas, you can speak right into a mic, it'll help them hear.
So, do you mind if I address your question and then briefly her question? No, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do when I applied to graduate school. I'd say that I had sort of a Carol Burnett-like entrance into the field of political science, to the extent that when I was here, I majored in political science, but the first couple of years I was taking drama, art history, and French. And then I went back to political science my second semester of my sophomore year. What I found, like Sarah, I worked for 4 years before I went to graduate school. So I worked for a senator, I taught tennis for tournament, I coached tournament players, and then I worked at a law firm. But I have to say that I didn't know right when I graduated that I was going to be pursuing political science. But it was only after I had worked on a campaign and had got a chance to see what politics looked like outside of the textbook that I knew that I wanted to pursue it. As far as the the application process, there are a couple of things. One, the personal statement, you should really spend a lot of time on, because having sat on different committees and having helped students write personal statements or mentoring students that are going through that process, if you think about the stacks of applicants and the dossiers, the personal statement is I think one of these sort of self-defining documents in the whole dossier. The second part would be your references. Again, you want to get references from people who know you, people you know that you'll keep in touch with for 25 years and beyond. Again, you're going back to your friends box, that support network. As far as funding is really key. So on one level, if you're looking if you want to apply to schools, let's say if you want to apply to a state university, then you might decide to set up residency if it's in a state that you're not currently living in when you apply. You can also log on and look for different ways to find funding, whether it's focusing on your racial and ethnic background, whether it's focusing on a particular Rotary or local sort of club/organization. But I'd say that the other way that you get funding is, let's say once you're admitted, there are two types of funding. You can be a research assistant or a teaching assistant. So that's something you might consider. The last element that I would think about, I'd say Vassar really prepared me for graduate school and also working at a law firm, because at the law firm, it was the first time I had to write under pressure. And so I'd say that so originally I was admitted to Cornell for undergrad for chemical engineering. But having went to Cornell as a graduate student, I don't think that I would have thrived had I not gone to Vassar. And by that I mean, you really want to have a sense of what type of environment you thrive in. So some of you might prefer a small graduate school or a large research institution. So what I found helped me at Vassar was, again, having a support network and realizing that I work better in certain environments. And so even though Cornell is a large research institute, I applied to the College of Arts and Sciences. And even though it's a land grant, I was able to, at that point, after working for 4 years and having a sense that was an environment I could thrive in. So long story short, as a teaching assistant or as a research assistant at Cornell's campus, some of the classes, let's say American government, would have 500 students. If you find that you are not the type of student who would thrive in a large, where there's a large student body, that's something to consider when you're applying to schools.